Hey B, how's it going? It's Tuesday, October 21st, and I was going to reply back in an email, but doing a video is easier. So looking at supply and demand here, uh, let me draw what my eye would gravitate towards. And this is all subjective, so it's just this is what I would tend to do. Um, there's this area here. And I would draw it from, see the base of that green candle there, that little push up there. That's probably where I would define the bottom of that supply zone there. So I would say if I were marking up this chart, I would have this zone in there, and then also there's another one here, and yeah, I would line it up at the bottom of that last green candle there. I guess no particular reason. It's just the way I look at it is that it's the kind of price action that the market made in that zone just before the unexpected happened. And so the way I'd like to think of it is if I were to just block off this chart, which actually let me just do. Let me just, if I didn't see any of this, let me just move that out of the way. It's the kind of thing where it just looks like the market would continue upward. There's just no indication that the market's just going to plummet out of there. So same thing here. Let me just pull that out of the way. Kind of looks like the market should just keep on going up. It's like it's found a bottom and it's on its way to the top. So that's just something that my eye looks for. So that's why I would draw it there. Same thing here. And to be honest, uh, these are the only two areas I would have marked in my chart. I wouldn't have this one per se because for me, this has spent, well, actually two reasons. Uh, because of the amount of time it spent basing, I would look at that and say, well, there's been too many orders filled in that zone. So the other reason is because this is actually already retested with that wick there. You can see that it's already come back for a retest. So it's not to say that price can't bounce there, but I personally I wouldn't mark that off as an area of supply. It doesn't mean I wouldn't mark it off as a level of resistance. I probably would still draw a line from the top there, but there's nothing that really sticks out about that. Same thing here. I would say probably the same thing. This did provide a bounce, so there's many different ways to draw it, and it is all subjective. But if I were looking at this, I wouldn't put that in there for me because just the amount of time that it's spent filling orders in that zone. As far as this one, I wouldn't. I guess I would say that it was good to mark off here, except that once it punctured all the way through this zone, then for me it's not something I would leave on my chart, so to speak. That said, there is a lot going on here that I still like, and I think you know what I'm going to draw here. But this whole area here is actually a really nice zone because um, from a support and resistance standpoint. Let me draw a line here. So we do have a level of structural support here, which broke down through it and then became resistance at this level. So even though wouldn't have a zone marked off in this chart like this, I would still be looking at this level because this level still looks good to me. So I would expect something to happen in this area. So yeah, I guess you can mark it off that way. Yeah, you can see price drop through it and became resistance and then start basing at in this area and then sprung out of it. And technically, sort of already retested it at that point there, and then dipped further down into it in that area. But I've seen people draw supply and demand different ways, and some people just take the wick of a candle. So there's an extended wick. They would literally just take the wick and then extend a line. And I've seen people trade that way, and I've seen it work. So it's like there's just many different ways to draw this. I'd also just mention here, I wouldn't draw this as a level of demand for two reasons. One is technically, I mean, this just dipped back into this area of demand here, um, and plus we have that wick. But if we didn't have that, I would look at that and I would definitely keep an eye out on that on my chart in this area here. Still might do something in this area, but it's just the fact that this wick has already dipped back into it. It's already filled those orders in that demand zone, at least as deep as there. So, but yeah, so that's oh, interestingly enough, this one already did retest. It kind of did here, although actually that makes sense because we got that level there. Yeah, so we got a retest right there, and then finally came back up and um, tested in the supply zone. I think actually after, or in the pre-market, it was actually trading. It actually got up into this area and provided a little bit of a bounce. Such as a small hourly candle. But yeah, anyways, that's my thoughts as far as how I would mark it if I were gonna mark off the supply demand zones. It's these areas where prices spend a little bit of time, and it's it's for me. I like that candle. I like these two candles here. The green candle. I like how price came out of it. There was no retest back up in it, and that's key to me. I like the strength of this drop here, and I also just like the fact that it just doesn't stand out to, I guess, most people that this would be an area to look for, just because it looks relatively small. But I think that's the areas I like because it's the areas that kind of don't stand out, and also um, where prices spent little time in that area before the drop, that I look for versus like something like this. I would tend to stay away from. You could look at this and say, well, technically it's been basing here, but uh, I don't know. My eye just sort of gravitates towards what happened after this little channel here. Price already did try to move to the downside and pushed off of that area. So for me, I think the zone just starts. Um, I draw these different ways each time, but that's the way I would draw this. So, anyways, hope that hope this is helpful, and I'll catch you later.